Oh my
Great.
God.
How are you
Oh
doing?
my God. How long has it been since you on the show last time?
It's been that long. I don't
I
even remember.
know.
I don't remember. I can't believe. Congratulations on 10 years. I cannot believe it. Oh my
No,
God.
I know. And we
It's
started,
amazing.
you started before me, but I'm like, what just happened? Has time been flying for you? Has time been flying for you? Like, really?
Yes. I don't even think about it anymore. I just
You just
keep
go.
going
You just
every
keep
day. That's
going.
just, yeah, another
Wow.
day, another
Wow.
day. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So
Yep.
how's everybody, the family, husband, boys, how's everybody doing?
Everybody is doing well. No complaints.
Okay. Good.
God is good.
You
And
look
we
great.
just do every day is a new day. How about you and the missus
We're
celebrating all
doing
these?
very, yeah, we're getting used to the Florida heat and the cold. We didn't escape it, by the way.
Right,
It
right.
is cold. It's not as cold as it is back home. That I've been used to for 50 years,
Hmm.
including the one from 78 and 1996. I remember that very well. But it gets cold in the mornings, but then it heats up during the day. We
Okay,
went through,
okay,
we went through I think two hurricanes, and we left both times because I don't
okay.
do
What man?
hurricanes.
No, no. We flew into a hurricane one year, Florida, and it was
Wow.
amazing. It was
It was,
absolutely amazing. But I will take that over the snow and the cold.
yeah, I got you.
Absolutely.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. That's
yeah.
true. We actually were going to New Orleans one year, and we actually were trying to fly around a tornado. And this is the first time, typically the pilot is just like, "Hey guys, just a little bit, let's get a little turbulence, and just don't worry about it. We're gonna get around it as fast as we can. And we'll just sit back and relax." This is the first time I heard the stewardess started to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're going through those flight attendants. Sit down now."
Wow, wow. Oh
Y-
my gosh. Oh my
Yeah, that the pilot said that, and I grabbed my wife's hand, and I grabbed the seat, and we just
God.
and he
Yeah,
got us
yeah.
around that
It's
thing.
scary. I mean,
It was scary, but never
wow.
have I heard that again. But we've been back on a flight since then. But it's just
Yeah.
that you have those
And
moments.
I got to get to New Orleans one of these days
You
before I
have
leave.
yes, yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes,
yeah.
yes, absolutely. Before the next 50 years, you got to get here within at least
Oh
the next
yeah,
50
definitely.
years.
I don't want to be around for another 50 years.
Not around this place, the way things are
No,
going, right?
no. Oh my gosh. No. Uh-uh.
So I wanted to bring you back on because you are our mentor, you are a friend. You have inspired us by, when we first got started to know what we were doing with, not only with the podcasting, but the mentorship, being a DE blogger and our friendship over the years. And I said, we got to get Antoinette Blake back. We're celebrating 10 years, but I wanted to just bring you back to see where have you been? What's your goals for this year? What has A Blake Enterprises been doing since you've been on the last time? And I just wanted to kind of get caught up with you as well. And then I want to talk about our story, how we first met.
Oh, okay. Wow. Because I was going to start with our story first
Let's
met, but
go. You can start there.
first,
That's
no,
good.
first, no, first of all, thank you so very much. It is so nice, for people to remember you. That's why I say it's all about the give back. It's not
Yeah.
about, all the money and the fame and the fortune. It's those people that are in your life and they're there for a reason and a season. And we'll talk about our season and our reason, later, as you alluded to. But right now, I am just enjoying life. Since the last time we talked, you left the state of Delaware. I'm still here in the state of Delaware. I have actually been pulling back because I'm officially a boomer, officially retired. So I just don't really need to do what I was doing before. That hustle and that grind. That's gone. That's done. That's over. I enjoyed it, and I actually, it's so funny. I laugh because I'm seeing these influencers, these content creators, all of these TikTok stars, and I'm going, wow, if only that was around when I started, I
Oh
don't
my
know, I
goodness.
would have been a lot more advanced, but just with life, you learn.
Oh
So
yeah.
I literally just really kind of enjoy watching the young people. I sound old, but I enjoy watching because in 2012, even 2010, 2011, when I started, it was nothing. I mean, we had to hustle hard,
Wow.
and we had the big DSLR cameras.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was the
I
whole
don't even
thing.
tell you what I'm using right now. You're gonna be like, I know you're probably using a webcam. Yeah. It's just like,
Exactly,
what? This is
exactly,
crazy.
exactly.
And
But it
you
was.
see, I got a DSLR behind me, literally just sitting there like an antique. But I
I
got
have
you.
a couple in my closet. It's like amazing, but
It
I'm
is.
just enjoying, and what's going on, and if TikTok goes away today or tomorrow or the next day, there's always something else out there, and content creators, please don't. Hey, we remember
Don't jump
MySpace.
off a bridge,
We
right? It's
remember,
okay.
when Pinterest was like, everybody had to be on Pinterest. Like now, does anybody pin?
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't pen. I had never even
No.
got into that. Yeah. It's amazing
But
how things
I've
are.
embraced being a boomer. And
Okay.
so my podcast, Boomers and Beyond, is what I really love doing, and devoting my blog to lifestyle topics for us boomers. So I'm staying in
Mhm.
my lane. I'm not
Yes.
competing with the young people because they're just, and I just enjoying life. Like I said, I'm not hustling. I'm not, I still register A Blake Enterprises, but really, it's like,
Yeah, I got you. You're on the other side of it, pretty much.
yeah, yeah,
That's good, that's
exactly,
good.
exactly, and loving it too.
How has retirement been for you? Because I know retirement, they have given us all these years. You're gonna retire. Then there's people that's like, oh, I'm retired and I'm bored. I'm retired and it's I can't afford to be retired. Since you already talked to boomers, talk to those boomers out there and share with the young people as well, but also mainly the boomers, some best ways to get through the different challenges. And what have you seen? If you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, coach, author, speaker, consultant, and you want to start your own podcast to build your authority, build more know, like, and trust, connect with new clients, attract new leads, I'm excited to invite you to my free webinar, Podcasting with Power, where I'll share the exact strategy that I've perfected over the past decade to make podcasting simple and easy as 1, 2, 3. This webinar is designed to help you go from a podcast idea to help you to start your podcast without the stress of equipment and technical challenges. And you'll also learn how to share your story, engage with your audience, and attract your ideal client all through your own podcasting platform. Or go to podcastingwithpower.com and get registered, and we'll see you in our free webinar.
Fred, that is so, so true. I mean, first and foremost, I'm blessed. I've been married. My husband and I have been married for 34 years. We've been
Woo!
together like 35 years.
I can't let that slide by. I can't let that slide by.
And together, because he worked for the state, he was able to retire full
Nice.
pension with benefits. Not everyone has that ability. And so that could be, I think once you get older, the biggest expense outside of your house and your mortgage is medical, because you can't go to a doctor without, a copay.
That's true.
So we have been blessed. I have been blessed that, with my husband, I was able to retire at 55 and never work for anyone ever again in life, because
Wow.
I've got, my medical. Now with him, he was diagnosed with colon cancer about 10 years ago, and he's good now.
Praise
And then
God.
I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And then, of course, with our son being special needs, all those things would have put us in the poorhouse, living under a bridge, had we not had insurance.
It's important.
So for my young people, there's two things I want you to remember. Don't say I can't afford $5, $10, $20 when it's cheap. Get the best insurance that you can. Get the high level insurance, because you never know. And always pay into your 401k, your retirement plan, because it'll go by fast. Did I think, when I graduated in 1983, that here I would be, 45 years later, retired? No. I don't believe that God put us on this earth to work in our entire lives and then die. Now, you probably know relatives and friends that they retired and then they didn't live long. I have cousins that, said, I'm going to retire, and they didn't live to retirement. You want to be able to relax. So invest in yourself as a young person now. Put away that money. Stop buying, the bags and the shoes and this and that and the other. Save it because you never know. And you will be able to enjoy it when you're in your 50s or 55 or even in your 60s. But don't wait. Just invest, if anything, invest in yourself, in your health and your finances now. Everything else will take care of itself, I mean, Fred, we ate sardines, right? We,
Correct.
we ate crackers
Kibble
and
snacks. They call
right,
them
right,
kibble
right, right. We
snacks.
didn't have to go. We didn't order. I could like they got this, Uber Eats
Yeah,
and
none of that.
DoorDash and all these. No, come on, save
Yeah,
that money.
yeah. It's so important, and I learned that lesson. I'm going to be writing a book. I already wrote one on relationships. Now I'm going
Yep,
to write one on finance. When I get out of the finance space, can't do too much when you're working for the finance space right now. You got to just,
exactly,
got to do
exactly.
what you got to do. But once I get out of the finance, if that ever happens, or actually when I know it's going to happen, especially with AI going on right now, I'm going to write a book about how I blew $1 million.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
think that everybody can say that because here's what made me realize that. You know that little social security little report that you get every little social while to tell you
yes,
how
yes,
much you gonna be making every single month if when you
yep,
retire. One time I started working in 1983
uh-huh,
and I've been working for the last 30 something years. And around about year 29, I got that paper and I started looking at all the years that it showed how much I made. So I
hmm,
said, well, let me add this up. And I added it up and I passed out
yep,
because I think about, wait a minute, this thing came to 1.2. That's all I want to say over
hmm.
30, 29 years. And I said,
And what did you show for it?
nothing, zero. Then I read a book by David Bach that year called The Automatic Millionaire. And it was 3 words that I read and I put the book down and it was pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. And I changed everything. Got in the 401, just changed everything. So, and still raising kids, co-parenting, the kids are growing, all that kind of stuff. But it shifted my mindset. And I said, had I understood, right? So I'm
Yep,
so glad what you're saying to young people listening right now on the show, because I noticed in our audience, we got people between 18 and 55. I've been
right.
noticing that. So this is perfect. I'm so glad you brought that up because insurance is so important.
Hmm.
And just being able to prepare. We're so in the now, in the moment, and
Right.
the birthdays and the holidays and the couches and the cars.
Hmm.
Why do you think that we start out like that, in your opinion?
Well, it's a mindset. I mean, we live in a world where we see fancy things. I mean, they're on TV. We always want the latest and greatest,
Mhm.
and that's just in our DNA. It doesn't matter what age, race, religion you are. You see it right now. There's
Mhm.
exceptions to every rule, but we see the fancy things. We want that. I mean, it's so funny, Fred. I was looking at an old video from Soul Train, right?
Oh yeah,
And the dancers. But if
yeah.
you look at the clothes, I mean, the clothes, they went out and they bought the best clothes to be on that
Yes, they
line
did.
dance. And that's what we did. We
Yeah.
literally, we always had to have the best clothes and the best this, that, and the other. But sometimes, you know, it's not about that. It's about,
Mm,
you're like investing in yourself. And
mm,
it's
mm.
so funny. A lot of people say, why do we keep buying for women? Why do we keep buying new dresses for every event?
Every event.
Why? Why do we have to? Can't we wear the same gown that we wore 2 years ago?
So
No,
it
no.
has to be. You said it has to be a different event because I can't wear that because I wore that at the last event.
And it's funny because I look back at old pictures. I'm like still wearing the same sweater. I mean, this sweater's old. I've had this sweater for like 10, 20 years. I mean,
Right.
I'm just hoping it don't pop up on the same day that I'm wearing it on the same day. So, but we can recycle our clothes. I mean, I
Yes.
don't know, it's a mindset, and not everybody has that mindset. But please, people, think about it, especially as now we're seeing what's happening in the world, right?
Yeah.
People have lost everything,
Everything. Everything.
everything. but they have their life.
And their
So
life.
imagine if you lost everything. Are you going to replace all that? No.
No.
What's most important? Your family, your freedom, your peace of mind. We down, everybody wants the big house, right? When we got married, we got the McMansion in Middletown, right? But it
Yeah,
served its purpose. When it was time to downsize, it's like, okay, forever house, ranch, little house,
that's right.
little mortgage, nothing. We don't need all that yard. We don't need
Mhm.
all that pool. We don't need all that because either you're gonna be working for the house or you're gonna be sitting in the house. Right now, I like sitting in the house.
Right.
I'm not working for my house. I'm sitting in my
Like
house and
sitting
I'm
in my house.
enjoying it.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. That is so good. I actually was thinking about that too. And I have never bought a home. My wife has 17
Uh-huh.
years, and so we're at a strange place in our lives. And this whole God uprooting us from a place that I lived for 50 years to a place where nobody knows me at all, where I've
Mhm.
been replanted. It's interesting because I think differently. Instead of thinking house, I'm thinking land now. So I'm thinking trust now. I'm thinking legacy now. So it's a different train of thought. I'm even thinking landlord now. So it's not about I want this, because I recognize we've been here 3 years,
Uh-huh.
and we have been visited maybe once by each of our important family members. Thank God it came down. But if we had bought that house, they would be coming down once a year. And they literally said, see you next year. It's not like, so even though it's
Yeah,
$100 to get down here on a flight from Newcastle, Delaware, they're like, see you next year, because
right, right,
you're far enough away for us to have to say we're not going to see you every other weekend, right?
right,
And I get
right.
that. So now that just changes the perspective as well, and I probably would kind of be the same thing, same way. I recognize that it's important to find out what success is in your life. What does it mean to you? What has success always meant to you, Antoinette Blake?
When I can wake up, my grandma must have said, when you lay head to pillow, you should be able to do it with a clean conscience,
Mhm.
because you haven't done anything negative towards anybody or anything. And so when I lay head to pillow, I know I'm doing it with a clean conscience. I didn't try to maneuver or scam or do anything negative to anybody or anything. So I can, sleep peacefully.
Mhm.
And my motto, you guys know my motto is, when you wake up looking up, everything else is gravy, baby.
That's
So when
it.
I wake up and I'm looking up, I got that next chance, everything is good. So when, I'm in the store and, you see people complaining about this, that, and the other. No, I can't use that negative energy because it could be worse. You've heard me say before, I lost my sister. She was 29 years old. She was
Yes.
here today.
God
She was
bless.
gone today, gone.
Mhm.
And then I also held my grandmom's hand as she transitioned at the age of 98. So I've been
Mhm.
on both spectrums.
Both
So
sides.
now at 63, I'm just living life and I'm loving life and I'm not rushing through life and I don't have negative thoughts or negative attitude. I cannot allow negativity to invade my life. And so again, that's what keeps me grounded. My
Yeah.
family, my sons, my husband, I have family in New York. I don't have a whole lot of friends. I never like to have a whole bunch of girlfriends. So I'm at peace,
Mm.
So when I lay head to pillow, I'm doing it with a clear conscience. And when I wake up, I'm like, yeah,
That's
bring it
awesome.
on. What's the next thing? I'm
What's
not
the next
stressed.
thing?
Yep.
So what you start out with your podcast, and how many episodes did you have now? Good Lord.
Oh my God. Now see,
Talk to
let
me
me be
about that.
honest with you. This is not my first podcast. This is not my second podcast, not my third podcast, not my fourth. I think this might be my fifth or sixth podcast.
Nice. I'm on my third, so I'm right behind you. Trust me.
So it's
I
fun,
got it.
right?
I
It's
got
fun. I mean, I
it.
started, if you remember Anchor FM?
I remember Anchor FM. I remember that
Anchor
absolutely.
was such a cool community,
Yeah,
right?
which is now
It was just
Spotify. Now they ate them up. So yeah.
right. But Anchor was, you would just give, and you would just have your phone, right? You'd have your phone and you'd be talking into your phone and you just talk about the weather or that whatever, and people would connect with you you, right? It was
Yes.
so much connectivity. People would give you a text. I mean, it was cool. So that bug bit me, and I started podcasting. But you've asked me how many episodes. So there have been shows that I started and ended. So my first live show, Social Media Sunday with the Delaware blog, I had like 150, 160 episodes.
You see how she just said that, y'all? Just 150. The
Yeah,
average person that
and because you know why I remember that, because my 100th episode was an interview with my son, and I thought that was so cool, right? He was in college. It was so cool, right?
I love it.
And then the Delaware Blogger podcast, which I just stopped in 2024 because I started Boomers and Beyond, that had over 300 and some odd episodes.
Wow. Oh my.
Yeah.
Come on. You see where I get it from? You see why she's my mentor? Y'all see this? Okay.
And a lot of people think you can't like pivot or shift or your topic. And you could do that because I had podcasts about blogging. Right now, Out and About with Antoinette is at 159 episodes.
My goodness.
Boomers and Beyond, we're at 29. So it's like, I got one here and, but most of them have been over hundreds and hundreds, but it's because I love to talk, obviously.
And I love
and I don't care. I don't care if anybody is listening or not. It's my give back. It's leaving of my legacy. So years from now, when I pass through the cloud, somebody will be able to pull my podcast from the cloud and say, "Oh my gosh, she was like so cool." But I love doing it, Fred. I just love talking and writing.
What's the top 3 podcasts out of everything you've done that really stood out and had an impact on you, or the top 3 people rather?
Oh, that's a good question.
If you can't remember them all, it's okay, or at least what you talked about that stood out to you.
Oh man, of Shevitz. I've had so many great guests. I've had, like I said, when I started Out and About with Antoinette, I was scared because I really, didn't know about interviewing.
Okay.
So my style, I had, it was kind of,
we were kind of winging. I know I was winging it before.
Yeah. Now it's like, boop, boop,
yep.
But I'm looking at my list. I'm going to pull my list.
Okay. Yep. Go for it. Yeah.
Well, we're good. Because I've had, oh my God. You know what? Okay. Here's one. My very first, and it's sad to say this, my very first Out and About with Antoinette, when I started up again, I interviewed a woman who had some medical concerns, and she was, she didn't want to just sit home. She was going through dialysis, but she wanted to create a network for moms. She was a grandmom and a mom. Okay. And I remember we actually met in person, like in a restaurant, and was talking and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, let me have you on my podcast. Let me get out there, and you're going to be my guinea pig. I'm going to be. And so, Fred, it was a great interview, and we had a really good time. And she has since passed.
Oh, wow.
And I think of her and I think about her. And now I could literally, like I said, go back and pull that episode up and listen to her voice. And that is what I think the biggest thing about social media is and does. It connects you with people forever. And so I tell my young people, your brand is your bond is your brand, and you want it to be right and tight. Don't be negative. There's too much negativity out there. So when it's all said and done, what is that dash in between? What is people going to say about you?
If you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, coach, author, speaker, consultant, and you want to start your own podcast to build your authority, build more know, like, and trust, connect with new clients, attract new leads, I'm excited to invite you to my free webinar, Podcasting with Power, where I'll share the exact strategy that I've perfected over the past decade to make podcasting simple and easy as 1, 2, 3. This webinar is designed to help you go from a podcast idea to help you to start your podcast without the stress of equipment and technical challenges. And you'll also learn how to share your story, engage engage with your audience, and attract your ideal client all through your own podcasting platform. Or go to podcastingwithpower.com and get registered, and we'll see you in our free webinar.
And if all you can put out there, whether it's on Facebook, X, Blue Ski, White Ski, whatever ski, and it's all negative, that's how people are going to remember you, as being a negative person. But if you can put out good stuff, positive stuff, sharing stuff, when you think back and you look back, you'll say, wow, that guest was great. She was such a beautiful soul. She was a good person. Or, hey, Antoinette was a nice person. So, that, to answer your question and wrap it up, was that interview with Yolanda was wonderful. And, it's there forever. She's gone. But I shared my platform. She shared her platform, and we shared it. And whether, people signed up or not, but, it's there. It made a difference in her life. It made a difference in my life. And here I am talking about it, 3-4 years later. So that was, I'm going to just say it was her, it was Yolanda on her entrepreneurship, what she wanted to do. And she was creating a platform for other moms. Wow. She wasn't doing it about for herself. It was for others. So it's all about the give back.
That is so powerful, because I've actually had two. First of all, definitely rest in peace to her, Miss Yolanda, and to her family as well. It's a great way to keep her memory up front. And I've had two guests, as a matter of fact. One of them that I was on my show, BK Hart, the video guy. You remember him?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
He was on the show. He had passed. Yep. And then I had another guy, Chris Allen, as well, that actually passed. That was in the show as well. So it was very surreal, because as soon as they passed, their family called me, because they obviously shared the episode. And it was just so good to be able to say, yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna send it to you right now. And they can now be able to hear them going forward. So it is so powerful. It is just
so Fred, powerful. You just hit on something that, and I know we got to wrap this up, but that's why I do what I do. I mean, like I said, Gloria and I were a spoon coon. We were buddies. And when she passed, it was 1992. And I remember, I just couldn't believe she was gone. I still, to this day, it's been 32 years. Wow. I would play the answer machine tape over and over and over again, just to hear her voice.
Yes.
And so we left, and, answer machines, and, I don't have that tape anymore. But today, I mean, I've got her picture, there, and I see her every day, but I can't remember her voice.
Oh,
and had podcasting been around then, I could have pulled that up. That's why I said, if you could share your voice, like I said, that's, I just can't remember her voice, and I just wish I could remember her voice. So start a podcast, even if you do a family podcast, and you keep it private, you will have your family forever. And just like your friends, right? You will have people can come to you and say, can you share this episode with me?
Absolutely. That's so powerful. That, as you said that hurt me, because I was just thinking, it's one thing to say I remember her, but when you say I can't remember her voice, you're like, but if podcasting was around, you never think you would say that. I can't remember the voice, but we if somebody's not around for a while, that happens. But I'm glad you able to, at least be able to have that recording.
And we have the tools and the technology.
We got it right now. We can literally, and now with AI, I'm not even gonna go into that. You can really have it now forever, right? And so I've been studying that right now. I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve and the stuff that this thing can do. And I'm just like,
me too.
Whoa, right? It's just amazing. So
I love it.
It's incredible. It just frees us up to be more creative. That's what I always say. It just frees us up to be more creative. Wow. So as far as podcasts concerned for business owners, you got business owners that are out here who, they don't really, they hear about podcasts, but how can podcasts help build know, like, and trust with a business, in your opinion?
That's another good question. I love your questions. Thank you very much. Okay, so I got two things. I know two things on that. It's personable. The voice, there's something powerful about that voice, right?
Yeah.
I always tell, when I'm talking to people about podcasting, it's like, it's an intimate, you're having an intimate relationship with your customers, your clients, your family, your friend. The largest sexual organ that a human has is between their ears, and that's their brains. So when someone has their headphones on or they plugged in their earbuds or whatever, you're connected to them in a very intimate way. So you are, you're literally putting yourself out there. So as a business owner, you're literally connecting in a way that you can't with print media. Right?
And business cards,
You can
right?
have, you can have the biggest billboard on Times Square, but it's still not connecting here. That heart to heart, the H to H.
Yes.
So as a business owner, you can start a podcast and you can share with, what is it that your business does? You can give them a little bit more. And a second thing you might want to think about doing, because although I love being on Zoom and I love being on StreamYard, listening to a podcast, you can create weekly podcasts for your employees, a private podcast, and they can listen to the latest and greatest, whatever, instead of being in a staff meeting on Zoom or whatever the case may be, at their leisure, they can listen to whatever is happening. They can do it while they're walking, while they're working out, whatever the case may be. And that's another way to connect with your business owners or with your clients, however you want to do it, because a lot of people don't think they know that you can do a private podcast where it's not open to the world, right? You can do a podcast and they have to have, the password to get into it. So business owners, big business, small business. I mean, if you have a podcast, like now, people still are in awe of a podcast, right? That when somebody says they have a podcast, like, oh my God, you have a podcast.
God. Right.
No
And we
one
know how easy
right?
it is, right?
So, create a podcast, and it doesn't have to be an hour long. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be like, just, a consistent podcast, a consistent show where people can discover and learn more about you. YouTube is like the grandfather, right?
Pretty much.
People will always go to YouTube, and that's a way to repurpose your podcast.
So good.
And people are gonna, Google and Yelp and all that, but they're gonna go to, YouTube and get that review or check out that store. And again, the yellow pages are gone, right? Remember, you used to go through the yellow pages.
Yeah, I remember those.
And all that. This is the new yellow pages.
This
the
is the new yellow pages.
Is the new yellow pages.
Wow.
Yes.
So good. So good. So you are a DSU graduate. Let's give a shout out to Tony Allen and DSU. Talk about that experience, if you could, and where is it at today? Because you're still involved, right?
Oh,
what do you got going on down there?
Well, it's funny you say that, because actually tonight we have our DSU AA executive call. We're actually in our 4th year. So this year will be our last year. We are getting ready.
DSU, let's go.
That's right. I have been the recording secretary, the corresponding secretary for Delaware State University Alumni Association since 2021.
Wow.
So yeah, we're finishing up our term now. And yes, I am a graduate of Delaware State College. It was Delaware State College when I graduated in 1983.
Okay.
That was
before university. I got
you. That's right. We were just that little colored school on 13, right? That was it. Now we got Deshaun Jackson as the
I just heard about that. Shout out to Deshaun Jackson, the coach down there.
Yes. Look, we got Go Birds,
Go Birds. That's it.
Yeah, we got a bird.
Yes.
And we got an eagle.
The birds to lead the birds down.
Right,
Come
on. The Hornets, right? The Hornets.
The Hornets, absolutely. Okay, got you.
Look, the birds and the bees.
Birds and the bees. Come on. Tony Allen, baby. Listen, you're going to have to take that one.
The birds and the
Tony
bees.
at William Penn High School, by the way. So that's my man right there. I appreciate it.
Great.
Yes.
So yeah, I love Delaware State College, Delaware State University. It made me who I am today.
Yep.
And I'm so proud of all that they're doing. And I'm just, like I said, I want our alumni to just stay active, stay financial, stay committed, because it's all about the give back. Yes,
absolutely. So if somebody wants to be able to help out and become a part of the alumni, do they have to be someone from the school, or can they contribute in a different way if they want to?
Anybody. I'm glad you brought that up, because you could work for the university. I never attended. You could have attended one semester. You could be a parent, a friend. No, everybody, there are so many different levels of membership under Delaware State University Alumni Association. So yes, everybody, wifey, everybody could, you want to do.
Actually, my daughter goes, she actually
That's
went
right.
there for
That's
the first
right.
three years.
So you're
I'm
more
already
than
in.
that.
Okay, I'm already in. I just
You're
got to
already
spend
in.
some
So
money.
just
I
pay
got
your
to
dues.
check.
Just pay your dues.
Tony probably just send a check now, buddy. Okay,
Just check it out. No, there, Delaware State University Alumni Association. Just go there. It's like the
Thank you. All right, I got it. I'm gonna dedicate this episode to that. Absolutely.
Less than $50 a year. Come on.
Come on now. That's McDonald's money, which you're not supposed to be McDonald's anyway.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good. Antoinette, I appreciate you so much for being here. What would be your legacy that you want people to remember you by, as far as, not only just podcasting, but just in life, being married, having a successful marriage, raised some amazing sons? What would be your legacy statement for people that are in the same position as you right now, or they're just starting the whole entire path of life that you actually have already gone through and experienced?
Well, again, thank you, Fred, so very much for allowing me to share on your platform. I appreciate you, partner. We, way back in the day,
That's
hanging
right.
out. And what was that? The coffee? What was that coffee?
It was 1 million cups. Shout out. That's where I met Antoinette Blake. 1 million cups. Let's go.
Yeah, and we actually used to do like some mini recordings while we were waiting for for the event to start. So thank you. Again, this is why I do what I do. Mm-hmm. We never know when we meet somebody what the reason or the season is going to be.
Yeah.
So if you go into it with a positive attitude and not always trying to figure out what's this person want or how I can get this from that, because you never know. Right. So when you wake up looking up, everything else is gravy, baby. And stay positive and, treat everybody that you meet, whether you're in line at the grocery store, or, on a podcast, you respect and treat them well, it's all going to come back. Everything you put out, going to come right back at you.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. That is my partner, my friend, and my mentor, my podcast member. She was there before we got started, got me going, you just been such a blessing to me and my wife as well. We love you so much. And she is the host of Boomers and Beyond. How can they get a hold of you, Miss Antoinette Blake?
Well, I always tell anybody, if you want to Google Delaware blogger, right? # Delaware blogger, I'll pop up all over the place. But yeah, my Linktree ID is out there, or just, ablakeenterprises.com.
And we're going to update the show notes so you guys be able to follow my friend, also to check out her show. And for the baby boomers that are out there, here's a boomer that is moving. She ain't stopping no time soon. Let's go. Thank you so much for being on the Studio 22 Live.tv podcast. That's funny. Look, it's like I got so many podcasts. I got to remember which one I'm on. Thank you. It's Studio 22 Live. This is her website for Boomers and Beyond, delblogger.com. We're going to update that in the show notes as well. And thank you so much, my friend. High five to you for coming back after 10 years. We still here. And for the next 10 years, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Y'all, listen, make sure y'all just tune into us. And I'll see you guys next week on the next episode. God bless and be well. If you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, coach, author, speaker, consultant, and you want to start your own podcast to build your authority, build more know, like, and trust, connect with new clients, attract new leads, I'm excited to invite you to my free webinar, Podcasting with Power, where I'll share the exact strategy that I've perfected over the past decade to make podcasting simple and easy as 1, 2, 3. This webinar is designed to help you go from a podcast idea to help you to start your podcast without the stress of equipment and technical challenges. And you'll also learn how to share your story, engage with your audience, and attract your ideal client all through your own podcasting platform. Or go to podcastingwithpower.com and get registered, and we'll see you in our free webinar.